Okay, we're up to Lamed Beis, Amid Beis. We're up to the last Mishnah on the page. We're up to the last Mishnah on the page. Shaifa Shel Rosh Hashanah. There's Shaifa on Rosh Hashanah. The last, and there's Shaifa on Rosh Hashanah. Let's say you have to bring a shayfa from outside the tchum, or to go be mekayim the mitzvah of shayfa, you have to leave the tchum. So you can't do it, even though shayfa is a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, and tchum is d'Raisa, and tchum is d'Rabbanan. Nonetheless, even over here we say asay ein asay dochalos asay ve'asay. Let's say the shofar is buried underneath a pile of rubble. On Yontif, you're not able to go ahead and clean away the rubble to get to the shofar. Like oilin be'ilon, if the shofar is up in a tree, you can't go up in the tree to get it. If a person's sick, you can't put him on a behemoth to go ahead and ride. Again, these are all, dinim, these are shvusim. These are shvusim, dinim drabonon, and we're familiar with the reasons. I can't go up a tree, you may come to go ahead and detach a branch. You may never ride a horse, you may detach a piece to smack the animal. Can you swim? Again, you're not allowed to swim because you may make a tube. We had that in Masech the Beitza. You can't cut it. Whether it's something that is a din d'Rabbanan or a din d'Oraisa. We'll see what chaytkin means over there. I learned one way, Rashi learned another way, and then I found my pshat in the Rach. We'll get there soon. You want to clear out the shayfa. The shayfa has a bunch of residue inside. You can go ahead and put a yayin and water inside, right? Because it's going to go ahead right and clean it out. And it's not considered like tikkun mana. You might think that's the final step, cleansing out the inside of the shofar that it should blow clearly. It's not tikkun mana. That you could do. You don't stop a child from blowing on Rosh Hashanah. You could even go ahead and work with him until he learns how to do it. However, misasik lo yotzer, a person's is misasik, he doesn't mean to blow, and he ends up blowing the correct chiyas, you're not yotzer. Hashemeim misasik lo yotzer. The person who listens from misasik is not yotzer. We'll get back to that sugi of daf kaf chesov, Mr. Shrichas kavmano or not. Okay, it's a packed daf. It really is a very short daf, but it has a lot of yesodis into it. My timer, what's the reason? What's the reason that you can't go ahead and go outside of tchum or clear away the gal? If they shofar asehu, shofar is an asay, the yontif asay, velois asay, and yontif is a mitzvah asay. It says b'chodesh hashvi'i becha l'chodesh yilachem shabbosayin zichroin trua mikra kodesh. Then it says loisasun. It says kamalacha avoida loisasun. You shouldn't do any what avoida. You shouldn't do any avoida. Ve'ein esay doicha es lois asay v'asay. And an essay can't doichalos asay v'asay. We have a rule in Shas that asay doichalos asay, fellas. We learn it out from. It's a big sugya in Yavam is coming up as Hashem, but we learn it out from. Just excuse my voice, okay? We learn it out from tzitzis. It says juxtaposed to the mitzvah of tzitzis is this shatnez. So the mitzvah of gadilin paselacha, the mitzvah of wearing tzitzis is doicha the lois asay of shatnez. So we say. Essay dochalos assay, a mitzvah assay pushes away los assay, right? However, if there's an other assay associated with the los assay, then mitzvah assay dochalos assay. So, for example, the binyan beis hamikdash, building the beis hamikdash on Shabbos, even though binyan beis hamikdash is a mitzvah assay and Shabbos is a los assay, Shabbos in addition is an assay as well. So, ein assay dochalos assay v'assay. That's the over here. The chiddush over here is that this happens to be a mitzvah d'Oraisa, and that's a din d'Rabbanan, and still ein asay dochalos asay. So the Ran asked the Gavaldic Kasha, guys. Listen to this beautiful lumdis. Beautiful lumdis. When do I say asay dochalos asay? It means in the time when I'm performing the mitzvah, I'm doing the avera simultaneously. Guys, listen to. Simultaneously, when I'm doing the mitzvah, I'm doing the avera. I'm wearing the tzitzis. At the time I'm wearing the tzitzis, I'm also being over the loisel shatnez. What's going on over here? When am I being over the avera? When I go ahead, I'm riding the horse, I'm mefakech as a gal. When am I being yoytze the mitzvah? Later on when I blow it. Freg the ran, why do I have to come on to the reason ein asay dochalos asay because yontiv is an asay velos asay? Even if it was just an asay, a lois asay, it wouldn't work. Even if it was just a lois asay, ein asay dochalos asay, it wouldn't work. Why? Because at the time I'm doing the avera, I'm not being yoytze the mitzvah as lay freg the ran. It's a great kasha. Guys, are you here? Give me a finger up if you're here. Listen to what you say. It's in the Magen Avram, Taf Mem Vav. The Magen Avram brings in Hilchos. He brings a Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam says that when we say Ein Asay Dochalos Asay, if you're not done simultaneously, that's an Aveira of the Yachid. An Aveira, a mitzvah of a Yachid. The mitzvah of a Yachid is not Doicha. But the mitzvah of a Rabbim would be Doicha afilu not in the Zman of the mitzvah, or of the Aveira. What's the mitzvah over here? The mitzvah is Tchiyah Shofar. Tchiyah Shofar is a din berabim, right? It's not only for Yachid, it's a din berabim. When you blow the shofar, you're being might see many people. So, because it's a chachma. It's understood that not everyone knows how to blow a shofar. It's a chachma, right? The guy on my right on the screen over here is a commodity, right? So it's a geschmack. So it's beautiful teretz, guys. The reason why you have to come on to the mid of Ein Asay Shabbos Yontiv is in Rosh Hashanah is an Asay and a Los Asay, that this Asay of Tigah doesn't push, because if it was only a Los Asay, it would, because it's a mitzvah derabim. It's a mitzvah derabim. It's a good just say to know. And I say Dochalos Asay, a mitzvah derabim, even Shaloi Be'idna, even if you're not Makayim the mitzvah, the Aveir at the same time, the mitzvah, it still would be Daicha. Very good. Says the Gemara Vaita, Loi Oilin Be'ilon, Loi Roichven al Gabe Behema. Now, all of these seem to be, let's go through the Averis, guys. Mavir al Tchum, Deraisa Derabanan. Derabanan. Only Rabbi Kiva holds Tchum is Deraisa. Veim Fachnes Olav Gal. What's the Yisra moving rocks? Muktzah Derabanan. Loi Oilin Be'ilon. Why? Because also Derabanan. You may come to break something off. Loi Roichven al Gabe Behema. You may break off a branch. Good? So these are all dinim that are Derabanan. However, there's a difference in the Derabanan. In one case, you'll never come to a Daraisa. In the other one, you could come to a Din Daraisa. So, for example, Eima Vin Lav Tchum, it's a Din Derabanan, but you're not going to come to a Daraisa. Befaklim of Zagal, moving away rocks, you're not coming to a Daraisa. But riding a horse where the Gezeir is up to a Daraisa, cutting off a branch, or climbing a tree where you may come to break off a branch, which is Koitzer, Din Daraisa. But Mela, that seems to be so. Says the Gemara Kasha. With that in mind, that's the way Rashi explains the sugya. With that in mind, like oilim be'ilam, which could lead to a deraisa, like roichvel agay behema, which could lead to a deraisa. Hashtag rabbanon armit loy. You're telling me that ema fachin leves agal, right? And tchum, which is only the rabbanon deraisa me boy. You need to tell me a din deraisa, meaning a derabbanon that could come to a deraisa. Climbing a tree, riding a horse is the Rabbanon that come to the Raisa. So they're all did the Rabbanon, but two of them that are listed in the Mishnah remain that way, and two could come to the Raisa. Says the Gemara, you tell me this, and you don't need to tell me this. The Mishnah was written in a way, the style of Mishnah. Sometimes you tell me something that is not necessary. Now Rashi brings this pshat. Look at the list Rashi on the page. The Raisa. Roichvin, maybe you'll cut a twig. Maybe you'll disattach a branch. Boy. However, v'yesh gimgum b'dava, says Rashi. They're all the Rabbanon. So one leads to the Raisa, but doesn't. Rashi's not so spoil of this Gemara. V'nira be'enai, the loigar sinan la. At kedei kach, says Rashi, that you're not going to risk this Gemara. He doesn't like this distinction between the deraisa of the Rabbanon that will lead to a deraisa and the Rabbanon won't. Fascinating. I'm an Aleph. The ein choychen oisoi bein b'dava shu mishum shvus ubein b'dava shu mishum loisase. Now, what does it mean you can't cut, guys? How did you learn you can't cut the shofar? You learned mistama like I did. You can't cut her off the animal, right? Right. You can't cut her off the animal, right? Look at Rashi. in bol taknoi, if you come to me with taking it, loy b'davar mishum shvus kli she'ein darkei lachlei ba shayfreis, not with a kli that you don't usually goes to cut a shayfer. Kigoin magala, a sickle is shvira balaz. The tikkun kilachiyadhu, because this seems to be tikkun correcting lachiyad. Ve'ein bayel mishum shvus. So I'm learning that the takne does not mean to go ahead and cut off the animal. The take means to make it work. In other words, you have it. I'm thinking it means to scrape it and hollow it out. Because to cut off the animal, a sickle will be do a better job than what? Than a knife. To go ahead and scrape out, to take a sickle to scrape out, that's klachiyad. To take a knife to go ahead and scrape out, that's normal. But if you're cutting it off the animal's head, a sickle is a much better instrument to go ahead and sever the horn of the ram than a knife. Maskim? So look at the Gemara now. Mishum shvus would be magala, a sickle. So that's the Rabbanon. And loisase is a sakina, is a knife. So hashna mishum shvus amaloi is sickle not, which is the Rabbanon. Loisase boy, same teretz. Zu vein tzarich lemezu. Okay. Now, if you look at the Rach, if you look at Rabbeinu Chananel on the side, he says vein chayich nesai. Go down a little bit. Ukminan hacha, well, that sign over here. Ein chayv kin ha-shayfer b'davar shel mishum shvus. Kigoyin masa, a saw, a sakina uchayotze ba. V'kol shkein b'davar shel mishum loisasei. Kigoyin magal, a sickle. Shu osay liktzer ba. V'akatziri hi miyavas malachas. Shevadei asa. Avar matzah lasa is the toik shayfer mayim ayayin that you could do. So he's learning in Chayt is to go ahead and cut off the head, to cut off. If it's cutting off, Ken Zayin, the Gemara has the gersa, the opposite gersa. Magala is normal, and the Sakina is Misham Shvus. So depending how you learn, you're cutting over here. Water, or yayin inside, a yayin, then ain. We have a sit on top there. On top, right there, on top. Right there. Good. Mayim or yayin in, says the Gemara, you could put mayim or yayin in and may raglayim loy, but you can't put them out may raglayim. So masnisa money is Abisholhi. Who is the Tana of the Mishnah? It's Abishol. The Tanya Abishol loimer mayim or yayin mutter. Kedei letzachtzachai, to go ahead and cleanse it out. May raglayim asim from they covered. May raglayim would be asavat because of covet. May raglayim would be asa because of covet. So I saw a kasha from the Sfas Emes. What do we say? Reb Shimon Gamliel loy mahatzori on misraf and knife miat aksaf. Boris kashin lami hiba kedei liapos beses tiparin kedei she no yekrafis lo lami ba kedei lishabes ren. Baloi may raglayim yafala. The may raglayim would be good. Elashei machnisim may raglayim b'migdash b'nei hakavod. So it's mashma. The kavod is bringing it into the migdash. Yet over here it says what? Even to go ahead outside the shayfa to put the urine in is not b'kavodik. But why? But why? It's this. So do you remember I spoke out the other day? I think maybe I didn't speak it. I'm not sure that the zecher of the shayfer is like when we did the sugi of Ein Katei Ganasa Saneg. I spoke it out that we said that the gold, the Gemara is the kasha, that why can the Kohen Gadol wear the big day zov outside if Ein Katei Ganasa Sanega? So we said he only can wear it inside, but outside he could. The shayfer is outside. We said since the shayfer's job is the zichrein to bring it inside, it's kilifnim. The Sfas Emes said on that there's no din of being oil the regular Rosh Hashanah because wherever you are, wherever you blow it, the shofar brings you inside. So with that Sfas Emes, you can answer this kasha. The shofar is the zichron lefnim. So even if you put the urine inside, right, it's like you put it inside. So it would be very geschmack to go ahead and explain why this is the same reason that ein machnisi meraglayim b'migdash would work over here as well. Says the Gemara Vaita. You could see I was home the whole day today, right? Had a lot of time today. Okay. You're not ma'akev from going ahead and blowing. Hanashim, but women, ma'akvin, you would be ma'akev. Women, you would stop from blowing on Yontif. Vatanya, ema akvin, lo yasa nashim, lo yasa tinoikis, not nashim and not tinoikis, let kaya be Yontif. So it's here we said, women, you could. You can let them. So I'm Rabbi Lekasha, Ha Reb Yehuda, Ha Reb Yosi. Right? Reb Yehuda and Reb Yosi. Reb Shimon. Machlokes Reb Yehuda and Reb Yosi and Reb Shimon. The Tanya. Dabel B'nei Yisrael. Now we have machlokes. Do women do smicha or not on the carbon? The carbon, another you bring, you do smicha on it. So B'nei Yisrael Seimchin, B'nei Yisrael Seimchais. That says Dabel B'nei Yisrael, only the males and not the females. Reb Yehuda, that Divrei Reb Yehuda. So Reb Yehuda says that it's not a reshus to do it. So who adin by shofar, even though it's reshus, you don't do it. Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Shimon says nashim soimches reshus. Nashim, the soimich is a reshus. So like Rabbi Yosi and Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, since they have reshus to go ahead and be sameach, to go do smicha, samchais, who adin le'inyan wad le'inyan shofar. That is a Rashi here, very famous Rashi, very very hard Rashi. Rashi says that women are pata. Of course, it's a mitzvah says she's man and a pata from shayfa, right? So look at Rashi. Says Rashi, Hanashim akvin. You'd stop women. The peturis ligmar. They're pata from learning how to blow a shofar. The mitzvah says she's man grama who, because shofar is the mitzvah says she's man grama. The chitaka ikabal taisif. When they go ahead and they blow, there's a din about taisif. Now you see it says Ayin Marsha on the side. If you have an old Gemara, it says Ayin Marsha. If you have a new Gemara, they probably gave you a number to go to.
What's the difference between that and lulav and everything else that women do?
So you go over in Baal Taisa there too. Who I did.
Oh, of course, boy.
But listen, according to Rabbi Yehuda, but freg the Marsha Akasha guys. What? What?
They're not mechuyev in Nashim, right?
The mitzvah says it's mangrama. So, but again, this is according to the opinion. What would be wrong if they do it? Well, in other words, they're not mechuyev, but what would be wrong if they do it? Why? Women that go to the minig is they go to hear shofar. They do shake the lulav. What's wrong with them doing it, right? So Masha asks the kasha. He asks, Bal Tosef means I'm mechuyev in the mitzvah and I'm meisiv on the mitzvah. I put in 5 hadassim. I remember I sit in a sukkah b'kavana on Shmini Atzeres, right? So I'm being moisef on an existing mitzvah. But if you're not mechuyev in the mitzvah at all, how's it shaykh about Tosef? It's very, very hard to understand. So they learned that moisef means she's moisef a mitzvah, not the mitzvah. She's moisef a mitzvah. But listen, we have a little time. I don't know. Let's do a Tosfos. Okay, let's do a Tosfos. You can see it? Should be able to see it very clearly, guys. Yes? Yes? You can see it? No? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So let's do a Tosfos. This is Tosfos Michal Bas Kushi. This is Tosfos from Erev in Daf Tzadik Vav. Michal Bas Kushi, Hoysam Manchel, she put on tefillin, and they say they didn't stop her. In the Psikta, they say they did stop her. Yona's wife, she was Eil L'Regel, they didn't stop her either. So this is the sugya. Now, basically, it has two shlotas sugya. These women are doing mitzvahs. That is mitzvah says man grama. Being Eil L'Regel says man grama. Putting on tefillin mitzvah as man grama because Laila loves man tefillin who Shabbos loves them. Okay, so the chayra, what it says the Gemara. Masha Pirish b'kuntris. That Rashi says the mitzvah says man grama who hayamoichem biyada. Shenira kimaisifa. It appears she's being meisif on the mitzvahs. So the Rashi in Erevin is saying the same thing as the Rashi here in Rosh Hashanah. Ein ner l'ri. The Rabbi Yehuda. Now Rabbi Yehuda is the guy who says over here. He's the man who says over here that it's not that smicha is not a reshus. So he's the one who would say that if women go ahead and do it, they would be over about meisif. So he says Rabbi Yehuda says. Less than nashim saimchais reshus v'shamlin le perakam d'sukkah. The Amr Hilni Amalka, you might remember this. We always remember the first plot. Hilni Amalka was sitting in the sukkah with Zayin Baneha, and the Chacham didn't say anything. But 1 second, if Hilni, as Benji just said, what about sukkah, lulav? And I said, what did I say? Who I didn't? Be the same thing. They should have gone and said, Hilni, what are you doing in the sukkah? Get out. And they didn't. So obviously they can't be over about Taisif. She was sitting there with her kids. Good. So in other words, the kids with mechiach, she's not there for herself. Inami, the guys, you should remember this. Rabbi said, guys, what was the kasha? If you're sitting in the sukkah on Shmini Atzeres, you should get malchus because you don't need kavana. So what was Rabbi's teretz? Said Rabbi, like to be over shleibis manai, you need kavana. A woman is not mechuyev because like shleibis man. Therefore, she wasn't about Taisa. The kiva delay mechavni lay loy overlay. Ach near it. Taisa disagrees with Rashi, and here's what Taisa says. V'nir lefarish the time of lemandi amad delay havi rishus mishum the tefillin tzrichim gufnaki. To put on tefillin, you need a gufnaki. You need a clean body. V'nashim ein zrisas lizar. It's difficult for a woman, who menstruates and different things. It's difficult. Well, the reason she can't do it is because, in other words, it's not every mitzvah that we say a woman is problematic. It's these specific mitzvahs. These specific mitzvahs it appears about Taisif. It appears not about Taisif. It appears it's problematic, either because of tefillin, but not because it's a rishus, but because guf's not nucky. By Lila Regel, she has no shaykhs to being like an animal. Looks like she's being chulun azara. You can't just walk into the azara anytime you want. Right? And good in those cases of shayfa. I think I should make this smaller just to get the last line in. Right? And now. And what about what's mishus? Right, that we stop them from blowing according to the Man Yomer of Yehuda. Not like Rashi said, it appears she's meisav on the mitzvah. El mishum the tkiya malacha derabanan he k'daman perakisi adam. The ein vadoy doiche Shabbos. So the last thing that it's a malacha, since it's a malacha or it's a chachma, therefore it's not doiche. So again, Machloikas Rashi and Taisvis in the sugya, Rashi says Moisif, so Moisifa, she seems to be Moisif a mitzvah, like the Mandi Amar that holds that it's not a rishus, and like Taisvis, these specific cases. Now this big Taisvis on this page that takes it up goes into the whole shaila of making a bracha. Does a woman make a bracha on a lulav? Does a woman make a bracha on a shayfa? How could she asher kiddushan mitzvahs mitzivanu? If she's not mitzvah, how can you make a bracha? So that's the discussion of this thesis. Okay, let's get back.
Where's that Tosis?
Sadik Vav Amid Aleph in Masechta Erevin. Okay, let's get back to normal daf where we go quick, okay? Okay, says the Gemara.
I got nervous when you said we're going to do a Tosfos. I was looking at this page.
I know all of a sudden every video went blank. I said the word Tosfos, all of a sudden went blank videos. Like I was looking at a gray wall, You go ahead, you be Isaac with it says if them it seems to be a stira. They began saying it's b'di'evet, now it's lechatchila. It's Amar B'Lazar, afilu b'Shabbos. Even on Shabbos, you can teach the kid to blow a shofar. Tanya nami hachi misaskin behen. You can be Isaac with them ad sheyilamdu until they go mamish learn how to do it. Afilu b'Shabbos, even on Shabbos. And I have written down, there's only a place where there's a bezdin, because remember, one of the takanas of every guys, one of the 9 takanas. We're going to have a bechina after class, a little quiz about how many of the takanas can you remember. But one of them was that you can blow in a place where there's a bezdin, right? So now, now, hagufa kasha. Innately, it's shver. Arma, you said, misaskin behem at sheyilamdu. You can go ahead and teach them, be Isaac with them until they learn. Bafila b'Shabbos. Alma lechatchila. Aminan taku. V'hadatnan ein ma'akvin. You don't stop them. Mashma akuvu hu d'loy ma'akvin. And halechatchila loy. Loy aminan taku. So guys, you have a problem. One in it says that you're misasik with them. You teach them how to blow lichatchila on Shabbos, or whether any Shabbos or Shabbos or Rosh Hashanah is in Machlokes Rishonim. Or and then it says no. Ein ma'akvin means you don't stop them. Mashma, you don't teach them. You don't stop them. So is it lichatchila, or is it what? Is it b'di'evet? This is like kasha on base. Kan b'kotin she'agil l'chinuch, kan b'kotin she'lo agil l'chinuch. If the kotin is agil l'chinuch, then you must ask him to teach them, and certainly you're not going to makiv. A kotin she'lo agil l'chinuch if you don't teach them because they're not agil l'chinuch, but to makiv you would not be makiv. Now, v'hamis asik lo. They just go back to the din of mitzvah strichas kavana. Remember 3 levels, guys. You're mechaven for the action, you're mechaven for the mitzvah. I'm not mechaven for the act. I'm mechaven for the. I'm mechaven for the action, but I'm not mechaven for the mitzvah. I'm not mechaven for the action at all. Misasek is the pashtus. I'm not mechaven for the action at all. It says the Gemara. Hotakei l'shir yoitza. Misasek, which is the last madrega, is you're not yoitza. L'shir, if the guy wants to play a tune and it comes out a richtika koil, then mashma you would be yoitza. Lema Messiah lay. This is level 2. Lema Messiah lay l'Rava. Let's see, it's a raya to Rava. The Amar Rava hatakei l'shir yoitza. Someone is takei l'shir would be yoitza. Says when dilma takei l'shir nami misasek her. Like could be no, could be that no. You have no raya. Could be there's no difference between level 2 and level 3. The same thing. Let's say a person is blowing for themselves and doesn't have you in mind, you would be yaitza because he has kavanah for the action. The shame, Rabbi says to a shamis, be mechaven to have me in mind. So and the chayra you see that not like that. You don't have to have it in mind. So Medilma, I did tanareshim misasik tanar seifenami misasik. Einochinami, just to be consistent with the misasik, but einochinami. You had to have him in mind. Remember, you're piercing by the back of the base medrash. If you hear Yaitza, the guy inside didn't have you in mind. We said he's the shliach tzibur. He did have you in mind. Okay, this is the most important mishnah to Benji Greenfield. This is the most important mishnah in Shas. This goes through all the tekiyas. This is exactly the mechanics of tekiya. And this is very much dependent upon different sugyas in Rosh Hashanah, Yovel, and we'll see tomorrow by Midbar. Oh, by the way, Bez Hashem, shir will be tomorrow morning. With the late afternoon shir will probably be in the morning, probably in the 9:30 range, around then, if anyone's interested, probably in the 9:30 range. Okay, says the Mishnah. Say that the kiyas, the Seder of the kiyas, is shalosh shel shalosh shalosh. 3 sets. In other words, tekiya, true tekiya, 3 times. 1 for malchuyos, 1 for zichronos, and 1 for shayfos. Well, again, three sounds. Again, why we make more sounds? That's the whole sugya, right? But 3 sounds: tekiya, true tekiya. Even though it doesn't say tekiya in the Torah, we'll see. 3 times. 3. You know, it's a total of 9 kailas. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? About to get 9 kailas. You'd be yaitza. Wow! Would you get home quick? Good. 9 kailas. That's the halacha. 3. Okay. Now, well, it's not the halacha, but we'll see. Share tekiya. The share of a tekiya is kashalish truos. A share of tekiya is like 3 truos. We'll see what that means. Share trua kashalish yivavos. The share of a trua is like 3 yivavos. Yivavos is a short whimpering sound. Taka b'rishayna umashach b'shniya. We had this the 3rd time we're having this Gemara. If in the first set for Malchuyos, he goes ahead and he blows his last tekiya, but he blows long enough that it extends that it can be the first tekiya of either zichronos or shayfos. Umashach b'shniya kishtayim ein biyadi alachas. He only has 1. We said that. We asked this is a kasha. We said you can't be mafsek at tekiya. Misha birach. A guy said Malchuyos zichronos shayfos. He didn't have a shayfer and he davened. V'yakach nesman aloi shayfer, and then it happened. He got a shayfer. Toikeu Maria v'teikeya shalish pamim. So he blows, Tkiya 3 times. Once again, he said Malchuyos, he says Zechariah, he said Shayfais. Okay. Kishem sheshliach tziba chayiv, just like the shliach tziba is chayiv, kach kol yachid v'yachid is chayiv to blow a shayf. Rabbi Gamliel Laimeh, shliach tziba might see as a rabbi midei chavasan, a shliach tziba might see a rabbi midei chavasan. Okay, so now we have over here that the share of a tekiah is the time it takes to do three truos. A tekiah is the time that it takes to do 3 truos. So 3 truos would be pashet 2, and tekiah is the share of those 3. Fred the Gemara Tanya, share tekiah kitrua. Mashma, the share of a tria is like a trua, meaning not 3 but 1, not a ratio of 1 to 3, but a ratio of 1 to 1. Amar Abaya, Tanadi done kachoshiv tekiah the kula bavi. Atana is counting the tekiyas of each case. One of malachim, of malchios, one of zechroinus, and one for shayfreis. So therefore, it's taka with the same sound. It is 1-to-1 ratio. When we said 1 to 3, he said 1 tekiya for malchios, 1 tekiya for shayfreis, and 1 tekiya for zechroinus. And those. Tana de Bra, the Tana of the Baisa, Kachashav Chad Bava Besulai. In other words, it's the same thing. I'm Mishnah saying the 1 tekiya for each one of the cases of the Malchuyas, Zechroinus, and Shayfreis, and the other one is just saying what 1 for so the share of tekiya is the same as the trua. Whatever the trua, the length of a trua, that's the length of the tekiya. Share tekiya, the trua is kagimel yavavais. The share of a trua is kagimel yavavais. It's like 3 watt. It's 3 whimpering sounds. Vatanya share trua kishale shvarim. It's like 3 shvarim. Now shvarim is mashmitz, a long sound. Rabbi b'havadei pligi. As opposed to the trua and the tekiya, the trua and the share of the trua is a machlokes. It's not the same. It's either short sounds or long sounds, as we're going to see. The ksiv, it says yom trua yeh lachem. It says the day of trua should be by you. U'mitaraminon yom yevava yehei l'chaim. It should be yom yevava. Yevava is mashma, again, a short whimpering sound. Uksiv be'ema the sister. It says by sister's mother. Ba'ada chaloin nishkafa. She was looking out the window. Batisyavev, and she was whimpering aim sisra. Masava genuche gonach. She was groaning. Masava, that not that she was groaning, that the sound of a true is like a groan. Umasava yelulu yolo. And masava, that she was making short whimpering sounds. So be'emes a shvarim, what we call a trua, we're not exactly sure what it is, as we're going to see in tomorrow's daf. We're not exactly sure what it is. So therefore, we have the 4 sounds. But really, there's only 2 sounds. There's a tkiya and a trua. But we're mesupik what a trua is. We're mesupik whether a trua is a short sound, and that's why we go tu 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 tu. Or now l'chayra, we shouldn't go tu 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 tu. We should go tu tu tu. Right? In other words, this Gemara said like 3 yavavais, correct? Guys, this Gemara says 3 yavavais. That's what it says. If you look at Rashi in the Mishnah, guys, look at Rashi in the Mishnah. On the words shalosh yavavais, shalosh koilos ba'alma kol shehu. So l'chayra, a trua should be tu tu tu. That's what it should be. Tu tu tu. That's what it should be, right? Nothing more. So where do we get our 9 from? So if you look at Taisvis, this really long Taisvis, this Gesundta Taisvis, a count up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 lines in the Gemara. Count up, guys, from the bottom. 13 lines in the Gemara, parallel Taisvis. The Riva, you have it. The first word on the line is Riva. Guys, you have it? The Riva, the Ben Harav Hameya, I don't know, the Marie Ben Harav Hameya, Mefarshim, the Yavavihi Shalosh Koichais, Shal Kol Shehu, Nimsa Trua is Teisha Koichais. Each Yavava is 3. So if you have Shalosh Yavavais, you have 3 is 9. That's where you get your 9 from. That's where you get, Benji, you have to buy at least 9 little ones. At least 9 little ones, right?
Minimum of that, yes.
Minimal, but that's the share. So in other words, I'm explaining to you from the Gemara, how do you get that share? Because we want to be Yosef the day of Taisvis. Like Rashi, it's 3. Light, the Shalosh Shebaves are 3 of 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Those are the Shittas. That's where you should get it from. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan. Okay. You know what? I'm going to hold off on tomorrow because this is one big sugya. Bez Hashem, if whoever can make it, like 9:30 tomorrow morning. But I thank you everyone for listening.
You're going to give a notice before